Do we need to have a resolution?
No, sir, that's something that the mayor has the unilateral authority.
Okay. All right, moving on into presentations, updates, and reports. City manager updates.
Mayor, City Council, and public, I'm going to call up April Davenport, if you don't mind. April is a public works admin. Her and Tammy Alexander, the HR director, has been working very hard. And Tara, can I get you to come up as well? Yes. Henderson Day Park is a park that we've been working on doing a lot of renovations to. In doing the renovations to this park, we decided that we wanted to do what is called a bank shot course. That's what you see on the screen. These ladies have been working very hard to get the funds that's needed. It allows for different age groups. It allows for people of different strength, and if you're disabled, you don't have a problem because the height of the goals is set up where anyone can utilize and play this sport. In raising and trying to raise the funds for this particular activity, because our Economic Development Corporation had already given funds for the new playscape, for the gazebo that's there, but we didn't have enough funding for this particular activity. However, through staff efforts, they was able to raise funds from different people and organizations. And if I could, I'd just like to bring mention to the organizations. We had Mr. Buddy Alders, Texas Pride, Dayton Coffee and Wine, DEDC. We have funds from the grant budget. From the parks budget, we received $10,000 in grant fund, but we were still short $14,200. And I would like to call up Just Amazing Youth Sports, if I could, please. Can you guys come up front, ladies?
It's really cool that you're the one doing this. Can I say something?
Yes,
Her son played in my organization. She's the one that came up with the name Just Amazing Youth Sports about 5 years ago.
That is awesome.
That sure is.
That is great. Well, the newspaper ran an article about this project and us needing additional funds, and I appreciate you so much. And it's just like immediately, it was ran on Facebook. I received a call from John Coleman, and he was telling me about their organization. And then he put me in contact with Jay, and they came together and they said, "You need $14,200. This is what we're here for, to help our youth. And what you guys doing is amazing. What you're doing is amazing, and we want to say thank you so much."
It's our pleasure.
So we're not out seeking any additional funds. It has been paid in full, and we want to say thank you.
We checked for $14,200.
So much.
That we're gonna.
I'm not going to say we couldn't have done it without you. I will say it would have took us a lot longer to do it without you. And we just want to say thank you so much.
It's our pleasure. Those kids can't play with the money left in our bank account. Might as well put it to good use.
Thank you. Do you want to just take a minute and tell them about your organization, if you would?
Sure. Like I was telling you, April's the one that named it. We started out with coaching special needs for Dayton Youth Sports Association, and then in 2020 we created Just Amazing Youth Sports. And some of you are familiar with us. I know Hendrick is. He plays basketball with us every February. We do a Cops versus Kids. We play Liberty County Sheriff's Department in a game of basketball with a big fundraiser at the Dayton High School. And Hendrick has been there. Coleman helped us put it together a few years ago. What we do, we supply. We don't charge. It never costs a parent a dime for their child to play in an organization. We pay for everything. From the socks to all the equipment they need. We have a great support staff through a social media platform that I have named Houston Astros Nation. That's where a majority of our funds come from. But we supply baseball, basketball, and flag football. But we're looking at maybe changing the flag football to this new bank shot program here in the fall if things go right. But it's our pleasure to be able to. It's a thrill to be able to write a check for this equipment to get this going. we're really excited about it. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you a lot.
Our pleasure.
Next, if I could, if we can have the elite force cheer Dayton Athletics to come up, please. They can come up front, so they can come up front. Yes, come on up front, ladies. And gentlemen, yes.
Y'all can spread out a little bit.
Council, this is a cheer organization that's right here in Dayton, Texas. They're not somewhere else, they here in Dayton, Texas. These young ladies and men have gone out and they have won first place national championship. Their organization started doing like cheer and tumbling back in July of 2019. Shortly after, opening in 2020, they did their first competitive cheer, and they was formed Dayton Athletics. This is, I believe, fifth season. Starting your fifth season. And they have done amazing things for these youth. They're here in Dayton. I just want to bring them up front so we all can get an opportunity to meet them, because what they're doing is awesome. And we thank you so much. And we're glad to have you here in Dayton. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get another one this year.
You will.
Praying for it. All right, I'll follow.
Good afternoon again, Council. The next item is on the agenda. We wanted to recognize our newly certified code enforcement officer, Alexia Nixon. Alexia Alexia, can you please come up? Alexia joined the planning department about a year and a half ago. Her role was code enforcement officer in training. The code enforcement officer's responsibility is basically to communicate to our residents and our business owners about the basic compliance of property nuisances. So she's the person that responds to high grass complaints, junk motor vehicle complaints, and also things even as I guess as egregious as environmental hazardous complaints. So in her training, she did training for about a year and a half, and just recently, a few months ago, she took the state exam and she passed and achieved her certification for being a code enforcement officer. During her training period, she worked underneath our building inspector and code enforcement officer, Arlene Carrington. So we want to thank Arlene Carrington for her tutelage and her guidance. And we also want to praise and give thanks to Miss Alexia for being diligent in her duties and going forward and obtaining additional education and certification in her role.
Thank you. We have one other certificate of recognition that I'd like to do. Our very own Jennifer Perkins has been recognized and received the 2024 Municipal Clerk Honor Roll. I believe, I don't know, for some reason I think the mayor has something to do with this one, but she deserves it, and we just want to recognize her and say thank you for all that you do here in Dayton for us. We're not finished yet. Murphy, you would come up, please. I asked Murphy to give you an update on projects that we are working on, things that was included in our bond, and just want to give council an update, even though we have stuff in your weekly, but it's a great opportunity.
Mayor, council, so the pipe bursting that we started on Hillcrest instead of Houston, we're about 75% complete on that one. We look to start, he gave me a start date for July 1st on Houston Street. So, fuel tanks, we're at about 90% complete on fuel tanks, getting them installed. They're all installed, we're just waiting on software. That's what's holding us up on them. Waco, the RFP has been sent out. We're 7/12 is when we open the packages for the RFPs for Waco extension. So, smaller stuff. We've been doing a lot of repairs, major repairs, not small repairs, major repairs to Lenny Creek, especially like Pecan Lane, Lenny Creek Drive, Slover Drive. We're probably about 50% complete with the major repairs we're trying to get done in there. So that's about what I got on some of the projects that we got going on.
Thank you, Murphy. That's all I have.
I just would like to thank Murphy and all of his team for being so responsive on the water and sewer repairs to the different roadways that we've been seeing come up pretty frequently. And I just wanted to thank you for your responsiveness on that.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next item, is our finance report for May 2024.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This report presents a general overview of the financial operations through May 2024, which is the 8th month of the fiscal year. We're at 67% complete. For the general fund, we have the total revenues are at $8,298,611, or 78% of budget, which is 3.3% less than last year to date due to reduced transfers from the water sewer fund and sale of surplus. Total expenditures are at $6,853,376, or 54% of budget, which is 17.4% more than last year to date. However, expenditures are trending 12% lower than budgeted numbers for the fiscal year. Revenues are over expenditures by $1,444,935, which are increasing as more revenue is obtained in the upcoming months. For water and sewer fund, total revenues are $4,970,735, or 70.2% of budget, which is 6.3% more than last year to date, due to interest and billing collections. Total expenses are at $4,294,616, or 62.2% of budget, which is 12.8% more than last year to date, due to the debt payments. Revenues are over expenses by $676,119, which are increasing as more revenue becomes collected in the upcoming months. For solid waste fund, total revenues are at $540,329, or 66.5% of budget, which is trending on budget. Total expenses are at $401,932, 57.8% of budget, which is trending 3% less than year to date. Revenues are over expenses by $138,397, and this is due to department trending within budget. For the fiber fund, we have total revenues at $157,178, or 140% of budget, which is 84% more than last year to date, due to the increase of interest and several new Dayton signups. Total expenses are at $411,183, or 28.7% of budget, which is significantly more than last year, due to the fiber installations, contracted services, and personnel expenses. Revenues are under expenses by $254,005 due to fiber expenses that are current to continue to service the city Dayton residents.
How are we on the fiber fund bond? How are we trending with that right now?
I believe right now we have like 2.7 million in there. Yeah, 2.7 million in there.
Okay. Do you know, do you happen,
Actually, 2.8.
okay, do you happen to know off the top of your head how quickly we're burning through that? With revenues being measured?
Well, the revenue, I mean, we're obviously expensing more than we're collecting.
Right.
Um,
I'm trying to get an idea of how long we're looking at that to hold out.
Mayor, it only depends on the connection. So it depends on how many people need to connect. Do we have the fiber in place already for those connections, or do we have to run it? So it's a different variation to make that determination of how far it would last.
Do we have some kind of like a ballpark figure?
I don't, because we don't know who are gonna wanna connect and where the lines are located at this moment for those different connections.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Moving into mayor, staff, and council comment.
I have a few things I would like to draw the public's attention to. First, we have a new local business that just opened this past week, Dayton Coffee Bar. They opened last week at 306 Main Street in the same strip center with Berkeley Eye Center. And I would like to encourage everyone to support this local small business. Secondly, the Art in Nature Trail is now open at Daniel Park on FM 1008 with the first 10 art exhibits, and would encourage everyone to go check it out. And then lastly, we have our City of Dayton 4th of July hometown celebration coming up here at the community center, and entries are being accepted for the bicycle parade, which will start at 7 p.m. that night. And those entries are open for walking, bicycle, and golf carts. Also, in addition to that, there will be live music, food trucks, games, fireworks, and more. So we invite the public to come out and enjoy it with us. Thank you.
All right.
And I'd like to just extend a thank you to Kimberly. Over the last couple of weeks, Kim has gone above and beyond to address the community in the Lowwoods area for the Henderson Day Park. Not only has she worked with a group of citizens during daytime hours, but as well as meeting as late as 8:45 p.m. To assure the citizens that we do care about the Henderson Day Park as well as we do the other parks. And I just want to say thank you, Kim, for going above and beyond. I know it was kind of frustrating because that's your family time, but you didn't say no when they called. And just thank you for going above and beyond.
You're welcome.
And I would like to say one other thing. Happy 35th birthday, Miss Kimberly.
Oh, well, thank you. Good morning.
Tomorrow's her
Oh, yeah.
birthday, and
Yeah.
we won't see her tomorrow, so I just wanted to extend
I
happy
appreciate it,
birthday.
thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, moving into the consent agenda. Can I get a motion on the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Having a motion to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda passes. Item 9A, public hearing on the dissolution of Trinity Crossing Public Improvement District.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So this one is the public hearing portion for this item. Several years ago, in the last 2 years, I'd say, we, as the city, the council created the public improvement district for Trinity Crossing. This was going to be a housing development, was the original plan. It was along Sawmill Road, north of the train tracks, was the location of it. That ended up, that developer ended up not purchasing the property, and then ended up falling through. And so the property owner, Miss Sharon Wilson, we had language in the documents themselves, or an understanding that if that development didn't go forward, the property owner would request that we dissolve this bid, and that's what they have done. And so this would just basically, if y'all approve this, and the next item, 10A, that will just roll that bid off, and then that'll let that land, that property start at square zero again moving forward. I don't know if there's anyone here on that item. I believe so. The property owner had emailed, just wanting us to let her know. But I think they're waiting to close on the property. I think she has a contract with somebody else, but they're waiting for this to be dissolved before they can do anything else with it.
Do we have any idea?
So is this property all in the city limits?
No, ma'am.
There's one.
No, ma'am. That was under the development agreement. Had they gone forward with it and bought the property, it would have been voluntarily annexed into the city, but it never got that far. Yes, Mr. Mayor, you can close the public hearing.
Okay, it is now 6:42, and I hereby close this public hearing. Action item 10A, consider with possible action on resolution number R 2024-38, approving the dissolution of the Trinity Crossing Public Improvement District. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve resolution number R 2024-38 to approve the dissolution of the Trinity Crossing Public Improvement District.
Second.
I have a motion to approve with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 10A passes. It is now 6:43, and I open a hearing to conduct a substandard building hearing regarding the structure located on 71 CR 607, Dayton, Texas 77535.
Chris Chavis, Planning and Development Service Director. This particular item is concerning a substandard building inside of the city limits of Dayton. Substandard buildings or structures may be ordered to be vacated or repaired or demolished by city council. Our ordinance gives you that authority. City staff has gone to this property located at 71 County Road 607, and we have looked at the structure that is mostly burned to the ground.
Can you click your screen one more time so they can see the structure itself? There you go.
So this property is mostly burned, but there are still standing fixtures of it. We as staff have several things that we have to comply with as far as like notification to the property owners and the lien holders. We've done our duties in doing so by sending certified mail concerning this property to let them know that the property is substandard and that this hearing would be held for them to have comment as you all consider deeming it as a substandard structure. Again, staff looked at it and then we see it as being substandard. We're asking you tonight to make an order that the property owner either demolish the remaining pieces of this structure, and that if he or she does not do so, that you give staff the authority to move forward and remove and demolish the remainder of the structure and place a lien on the property as well.
30 days.
Oh yeah, with 30 days compliance being allotted to the property owner.
Has the property owner had any communication with you in regards to this?
Yes, well, we had one of the lien holders to come into the office, and they mentioned that they were aware that it was there. They just didn't have the money to move forward with the cleanup of the property.
Do you know if they are residing in the mobile home structure behind this one that was burned down?
They are not residing, the lien holder that I spoke with is not residing in that particular property. They're actually in a neighboring property down the street.
And your communication was directly with the lien holder, but not the property owner themselves?
So there's multiple, or property owners. There's multiple property owners on the site. I'm sorry, I said lien holder earlier. There's multiple property owners on the site. The one that I spoke with is a neighbor to this property. Part of this site is in airship, and that's why you have so many unclear property owners, or no direct property owners. There's multiple.
Was someone involved in the fire at the time? Was someone?
Yes, so this fire did result in the death of the initial property owner, and that kicked it into airship, who the son is still alive. He also was involved in the fire and suffered severe injuries from this particular fire.
So how many people are involved in the airship? Is just the son, or is there other family members?
Well, there's other family, or I don't know if they're family members, but they're related to the property. So when we did the title search, I believe the son came up, and then there was one other individual, which is located again the neighboring property, and he's the one that spoke to it because he received a letter of notification as well.
So with the son being injured, is he capable of speaking for himself, or is he incapable of speaking on behalf of?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's capable. I'm surprised that he isn't here. He did give staff a phone call to let us know that he wanted to clean up the property, but he has doctor's orders, and he's healing from his injuries.
How long ago was the fire?
October of 2023. Staff originally notified the property owners via a violation notice of a substandard structure back in January.
And what is the process as far as, I understand, the city would take on the cost of going cleaning up and removing everything, taking it off. What is the process for us recouping that cost?
Well, we would essentially put it out for bid, and then we would take the lowest or best bid for that particular property to have everything clear at the property. This includes the foundation of the site. So we would put that in the paper and notify everybody, and then the demolition teams will go out, visit the site, so they can assess, put in their best bid. We then award that bid, and then we go forward after the 30 days to clean up the property.
Right, but my question was, how do we recoup the cost of
at
paying
the
for
point,
these bills?
yeah, at the point of sale. So at the point of sale of the property, a lien will be placed on there. The city will become one of the, I guess, first or second lien holders in order to recoup that money.
And Mr. Mayor, council, this type of lien, just so you know, is only subordinate to a tax lien. So even if there is other liens on the property, this would take precedence over those. Additionally, we have had in the past where individuals make payments on these or will pay them off, over time. But if they didn't, it would be a lien on the property that would be there until it was sold. But
Do we happen to know kind of ballpark figure of what?
Yes, we did a general assessment. Now, this is without the competition. I believe we did 2,000 square feet with a 6-inch foundation. The cost came back at about $12,500.
And that will also remove the cars and everything.
No.
Well, no, that doesn't. The property owner actually did remove the cars himself.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have to worry about that portion. We were just talking about the structure and the debris.
Okay, so the 12,000 includes removing that mobile home?
No, ma'am.
No?
Just the burn
portion
fixtures
that
of the
was
site.
burned?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
And how much property is that? Is that 2,000 square feet of property that's,
No,
how much
the
land
acreage is
is
much
it?
larger.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Okay.
question? Can I get we have to close the hearing.
Wait, Mr. Mayor,
Is
there anyone here on this property? Right. Just want to make sure.
All right, it's 6:51 and I close the hearing. Action item 12A, consider with possible action on resolution number R 2024-40 regarding the structure located at 71 County Road 607, Dayton, Texas 77535.
Mr. Mayor, what we would ask for you guys just in your motion here is if y'all would find that it's a substandard structure and a public nuisance and order the property owner to demolish it within 30 days. And then if they fail to demolish it, authorize city staff to have it demolished and a lien placed on it. Or just something like that.
Just say whatever he said.
Can I get a motion on resolution R 2024-40?
I make the motion that we move, with consideration with the possible action for resolution number 2024-40 regarding the structure located at 71 CR Country Road, CR 607, Dayton, Texas 77535, and with the terms.
Second.
I have a motion to approve with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 12A passes. Item 12B, consider with possible action on ordinance number O 2024-16, approving a zoning map amendment request to rezone 5.65 acres of property located on the south side of FM 1413 near its intersection with State Highway 99, legally described as Cedar Springs, Section 1, Block 8, Lot 38, 39, and 40, to make a zone change from general commercial to suburban residential.
This particular item is one that you all saw at your last meeting. The acreage is about a little bit over 5 acres or so. It is located along 1413, and it is near the on-ramps to the Grand Parkway. The applicant is requesting that it move from a commercial designation to a residential designation, being suburban residential. Suburban residential only allows 1 acre lot, well, allows 1 acre lots or larger, and it only allows site-built homes to be constructed in that particular zoning district. Going from general commercial, or going from general commercial to residential is staff did recommend approval of this, and so does P&Z. We felt that it met all the criteria that are inside of our zoning code. So with that, staff recommends approval of this item. And then there are people here to speak to about it, if you have questions.
Okay. Is there anybody that wants to speak regarding this?
First, I'd like to apologize to the council. We were on the agenda at your last meeting, but we received an email from the city that gave us the wrong date, and that's why I wasn't here. I certainly apologize to y'all for that. But could I approach the council and give you some maps, pictures, please?
Sure.
And sit down, I appreciate it. I'll be talking about that. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll be talking about that right there.
Do you want to just give them all of them and then we can look at them and pass them down at the same time? Are they all the same? Okay.
They're all the same.
Okay.
They're all the same. It's a map of that area. We'll be talking about that one road. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, sir. There are several reasons why I would want to ask your permission to change from commercial to residential. Number one, I met with TxDOT, 2 or 3 months ago. They would never give us 3 driveways. They wouldn't even give me 1. They didn't want to give me the one they gave me. Which you all know that we have to permit to get off state highway. Because of the speed on that road and the number of vehicles, they said they would only allow me 1 driveway. So if you had commercial, and also the width of the driveway was restricted to a narrower width, unlike what you would need for a commercial driveway. Number 2, my land doesn't join Highway 99. That's why I brought you those pictures. The state of Texas, not willing by me, but they took a half-acre of land from me by condemnation. And so the half-acre between my property and Highway 99 doesn't belong to me. It belongs to TxDOT. The pictures I gave you is that wooded area that I do not own. It's not involved in this. Number 3, I've been doing subdivisions in Liberty County for 46 years. And we always write restrictive covenants on our lots. We don't want travel trailer parks. We don't want mobile home parks. We don't want multiple homes per lot. Just one single family residence per lot. It's much easier to write restrictive covenants for residential lots than it would be for commercial. It'd be almost impossible to write a set of restrictive covenants for commercial activities, because what they start with in 10 years or 20 years, it might not be the same thing. So I would ask your permission to grant me this request so we can build 1 nice home on each one of those 3 lots. And I thank you very much. Do you have any questions for me?
Does the building of those homes include modular homes?
Does not. I understand you can't build a modular home in the city of Dayton.
You can have modular homes in Dayton, you just can't have manufactured homes or mobile. A modular is still considered a site-built, big-built home.
Does it come in on wheels?
I don't think it comes, no, it's not on wheels, no, sir.
I had a guy, Remington Place, I have a subdivision in Remington Place that I put in over 25 years ago, and there was a big argument about that issue. There's a man came out there wanted to buy one of those nice restricted lots. There are nice homes in there, as y'all well know. Somebody in the room might be living out there, but I don't know that. But he argued that a home like you're talking about would be approved because it was an upgraded mobile home. And he was in my office. I said, how do they bring that thing out there? He said, they bring it on wheels. I said, as far as I'm concerned, it's a mobile home. So we didn't allow that in there. And by the way, they have to provide me with a set of plans for what they're building, and there also will be a square foot requirement on the size home they will build on those 3 lots. Thank you very much.
So the building, the structures that will go on these lots will be determined by whoever purchased those lots. Is that what I'm understanding?
Wait a minute, I didn't understand.
So the 3 lots that's in question, is it a builder that's going to build on these lots, or would they be individuals who purchase those lots?
I don't put that in my restriction. I think I've sold lots to people that build houses, and they're very capable of building a nice home. Now, I've never built anything in the city of Dayton. So I would think that they would be, the plumbing would have to be inspected, the electric would have to be inspected, and I don't know what other inspections, but I would think that that would have to be done. So whoever builds their house will be subject to your restricted or your reservations or your, not reservations, but your inspections. So I wouldn't think it'd be any different than if it was right here in the middle of town. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, thank you.
This is the one that we had before us last month.
Yes.
What was the reservations that we had on this? Anybody remember?
I believe it was zoned correctly as commercial. I know TxDOT can be particular about driveways, I get that part of it. But I think the zoning map was done at a time that they realized it was an on-off ramp for 99. And I think whether it's now or 10 or 15 years from now, there will be resolutions as to how to figure out how to make entry on that. And that's kind of why I push for it, keep it as a general commercial.
The lots that are adjacent to that, lot 3 and lot 1, or lot 3 and lot 7, are those commercial as well, or are those?
Anything in the pink, everything in the pink.
Which one are you speaking to?
He's talking about the one behind.
Yeah,
those
yeah.
are-
They residential. They outside
That's not
city.
Cassidy County.
Okay.
These three particular in the city.
Right, correct.
Okay. If there are no other questions, can I get a motion? One way or the other? Or do we want to take?
So we don't kick the can down the street. I'll make a motion we do not approve 2024-16 zoning map change.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion to deny with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 12B is denied.
Thank you for your time.
Did you vote? You did.
All right, item 12C, consider with possible action on resolution number R 2024-45, approving the Jones Public Library patron conduct policy and food and drink policy.
Yes, Mayor and Council. Mayor and Council, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just wanted to explain that we had a recent incident that made this necessary to update our conduct policy because of inappropriate clothing worn to a children's function. And so we kind of wanted to get that in writing in our new policy so that we can proceed with handling that situation. And plus the food and drink policy, I don't think ever got approved through council. So I wanted to present both of those to y'all.
Mayor Council, I will tell you the patron that continues to show up at the library has been advised on several occasions not to wear that particular attire to the library, especially during the story time is when she's doing it, and been asked not to. We had several patrons complain about the clothing. We spoke to our city attorney and he advised the best thing that we can do is make sure council pass a policy so we have some way to enforce it because they're refusing. And I've been told on days she don't wear it, she make a scene to the fact that, oops, I forgot to wear my clothing today. And make it known that, oh, she just forgot, but again, she will show up the next week with the same clothing on.
Is this something that's offensive on verbiage on her
It's
clothing?
offensive of the pictures that are on her clothing.
So can we be specific, because
Okay.
I have all kinds of images
Okay.
of what the improper clothing are, you know, is it,
I'm gonna try to be as political correct as I possibly can.
but just tell us what it is.
No, I will not.
We can make that
I would
decision.
not. It's body parts that she's having on her clothing. And I
Oh,
think that's all
okay.
we need to
It's-
say.
Okay, it involves nudity.
Yeah.
That's fine enough.
Who's going to enforce this?
Who?
You, the PD, or you?
I think the library director
Yes.
has say on what's inappropriate.
If Sherry asking and they're refusing, then we will take other actions to have this patron removed. If she's not
Hey, we'll give
caring
you all the
about
tools you need.
children.
So are we opening up a can of worms to, if today it's the nudity, tomorrow it's the rainbow colors, next week it's the next occasion? I mean, like, I don't approve of it. I want you to know it's a concern of mine. So if we decide to vote on this, are we just limiting to this one situation?
No.
Or does it have broad context that could be something different down the road? It could be power to the people. I don't know. Black Lives Matter.
Let me say this. It's strictly dealing with the what's on the show. It's pertaining to being inappropriate,
For the atmosphere it's in.
yes. It's not,
Preschool story time.
yeah.
What could be deemed offensive?
Yeah, it's not,
Exactly.
exactly.
So-
She said,
Is it just this one, are we saying that, are we gonna, I mean, I wanna make sure I understand. Are we voting, if we decide to move whatever direction, are we saying that this particular clothing is not allowed at the library during story time telling, or
It's
at
not
all on the premises,
it's not
or
allowed in the library.
on the property of the
It's
library,
not allowed
what of
in the
the
library.
community center, et cetera, or?
Right. We've had adults complain about it.
Mhm.
It's very offensive.
Right, and I get that part. I just wanna make sure, you know, are we gonna come back months down the road or a year down the road and it's something else that, you know, it's a clothing issue, but it's a different type of clothing issue that could be possibly offensive. And I think the attorney kinda know where I'm going with this.
For sure, and I just want to be clear,
It is, isn't it? I don't think yours is worth
In
it.
there.
That's not allowed.
the red light has been on this whole time. So I just want to be clear, the clothing is one portion of this policy, right? There's also an unaccompanied minor portion that goes along with this, right? So if you have little kids running around, parents come and try to just use the library as daycare, there's language in there to protect against that. A lot of that type of stuff. Obviously, I understand exactly where you're coming from, right? And we don't want to become the clothing police or the thought police, if you will, about everything. If somebody were to go too far, if this happened that somebody gets asked to leave, right, they have a right to appeal that decision to the city manager. And ultimately, if they don't like what the city manager says, they can appeal that decision to you guys. So if you had a situation where Sherry was clamping down on everything and you know you didn't like it, not that she would do that, but let's say if that happened, those folks could ultimately come to you guys. And so, and the policy could be amended if needed when that time comes. I'll tell you, we pulled this policy from the city of Beaumont. Was the language, a lot of the language on the clothing that I pulled it from, and this was what they have in place right now too.
Can we?
Have we seen that
Can we get a
language?
copy of the policy?
It's right here.
Put it in the agenda.
So
it is in
it's
the-
here. So, because I don't want to see Miss Sherry, you know, trying to take down somebody that, you know, she may be having a bad day that particular day, storytelling day. Have we considered just banning this person, this particular individual for repeat offenses?
Yeah, we gotta have a policy
We
first.
have to have a, okay, that, I'm trying to understand.
Back us
But I would not like to see you trying to, you know, handle that situation. You never know what.
She'll call me.
Yeah, but I don't want to see you handle that situation either. It's kind of like where John's going. You know, people are kind of crazy and weird these days. So for your safety, you know, I need, don't try to handle it, you know.
She would ask them to leave. None of staff will put their stuff in a harm's way. If the patient decides she doesn't want to leave, Ms. Sherry knows she needs to pick the phone and call the police department for assistance. It was not our first go around. We had citizens come to City Hall. We had to have them moved.
And we're not going to get any lawsuits down the road, you know, because, you know, that's where we're really going with this.
No promises. There are no promises that we will never get
Okay,
lawsuits.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just for clarification, the reason why I was asking if we could see a copy of it was because it was not in the copy that was emailed to us.
I emailed it to y'all.
It's missing out.
No, later
Oh,
on.
okay.
I emailed y'all the updated ordinance, and then I emailed the policy.
Just wasn't in the packet.
Okay, so just to be clear, it's 4 bullet points. Shall I read it? Okay. Bullet point number 1 for the dress code, the new dress code, regarding the passage of the new dress code for the library. Visitors and patrons of the Jones Public Library must wear shoes and dress appropriately while in the library. Inappropriate, obscene, and vulgar dress will not be tolerated, and patrons will be asked to leave the premises. Clothing that is freshly stained, soiled, muddy, or highly offensive in odor will not be tolerated, and patrons will be asked to leave the premises. The library director or her designee shall have the authority to make decisions regarding dress code violations and removal from the library. I think it's pretty standard stuff.
I'm sorry, where did you get that? Where's that?
Page 206.
Page 206.
And the offensive smell.
But that's like, there's like a long laundry list of bullet points that goes along with those four that you named.
What was your
Yeah,
question?
this specific to the dress code.
Okay, so we're talking about the dress code. However, we're taking this from the patron conduct policy. So are we only gonna vote on just the dress policy or this entire policy?
The entire policy.
So therefore, you have to look, so just me thinking outside the box. And this is this strictly for the library or on the community center property?
Just the library.
Okay, perfect, that's what I need to know. Okay. So what if someone's getting off of work? I like to play the devil's advocate. Person's just getting off of work and their work consists of them getting dirty. And they need to come to the library and they're smelly and they're dirty, and because we have people who live in Dayton that work and they get dirty. Will this policy void them out for coming into the library?
Is they odor offensive?
Okay, I said a person.
Let me tell you what
Offensive is to the person who's smelling.
Exactly.
But if a person is working, let me finish. If a person has worked all day long out in the construction site, God knows what kind of work. We have people who do hard labor work, and I'd like to consider everyone when we're talking about this. I like to talk it through before I make a decision. So if a person who's worked, they did dishes and they've sweated all day for 10, 12 hours, and they come in, they have to go to the library. They're a single parent. They have to go in there and get some materials either for themselves or their child. And they're smelling odor they have a smelly odor, they're dirty to you that particular day. Does this cancel them out for coming into the library?
It does not. Let me elaborate a little bit to the offensive and what's going on. The person that was coming in the library, not only did they have an inappropriate clothing on, but they smell of marijuana. That was very offensive. Not just to one patron, but several of the patrons. Things of that nature is something that we're trying to prevent, and it's just the wording that was used in writing a document based on other communities. It's not that if you've been out working and you're coming in to drop off, pick up a book, sit there and read, or whatever, and you've been out there working, it's not to address you. It's to address someone that's very offensive. It's not something that we're going to target someone that's been working all day long. It's not for that.
I understand that. So this is my contractual mind and thinking about laws. I think that we should probably add some verbiage to this, because I agree with you 100. I agree with 100% with this particular person. How do you handle that situation? However, I do not want to, for the hardworking citizen that's law-abiding, they're smelly that day for whatever. They may have been in a sewer hole for a day, and they just got to do this. I don't want to, you know what I mean, cancel those people out, because this does not say. This number 3 bullet. It doesn't say, It just says freshly stained, soiled, muddy, highly offensive in odor, will not be tolerated. So can we do something with that verbiage where it includes not, if it's, I don't know the word, I'm not the expert here, but I don't want to counsel a hardworking person, the person that goes to work every day out of going to the library. Help me out, Brandon.
Well, I'll just talk about it since my microphone is there. I'm trying to think of what the language would be. I feel like I'll just be perfectly honest. I pulled that specific language from the city of Beaumont. I'm pretty sure a lot of the intent there was for homeless people, right? That might have go and use public libraries in larger cities to bathe and, camp out in the air conditioner. I don't really think we have a problem with that here. But maybe we do, I just don't know it. But it would be tough to say, if you're, what caused the stink, right? Unless we said, it's offensive because of a drug, but then how can we prove for a fact that it's because of the drugs right? That would be difficult to prove. All right. I feel like that would put a lot on Sherry. I feel like keeping it broad, the intent there was to, frankly, trust our staff to use their best judgment. And I'm going to assume Miss Sherry's never kicked anyone out for that type of a
I've never had
situation,
the situation.
and would continue to not. But you would have the language there if needed to be able to step in and do that. But right now, without any language, it's she's just kind of on the island.
Harder to address the situation without some of this verbiage in here in the conduct policy. But I haven't ever really, and we've had some smelly people. We're a public place. We're there for them to come through.
I think for myself, we've heard enough, and I believe what y'all have done with a good intent. I'd like to make a resolution. We accept R 2024-45, approving Jones Public Library patron conduct policy, reading rate policy.
Second.
All right, I have a motion to approve with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 12C passes. Item 12D, consider with possible action on request for service provider contract with CASA.
How are y'all doing today? Thank you for allowing this time. My name is Glenn Croft. I'm the current board president of CASA of Liberty in Chambers County. Then I make the safe assumption everybody knows what CASA is.
Yes.
Court of Fund Special Advocates.
I know what it is.
Okay.
For me, I do.
All right. This is actually our 15th year of being CASA of Liberty in Chambers County. Pretty big milestone for us. We were just asking for a $3,000 service provider contract. Dayton has done it in the past. I don't think we got anything last year, but I would answer any questions that y'all have about our program.
So I have a question, I guess directed more at Leslie. Is this something that we have budgeted for?
No. And, we really can't donate. We would have to get a service for it. I don't know if Brandon can elaborate on that. We were speaking about that, but we cannot donate. We would have to get like a service from y'all.
And you do. We provide the guardian ad litem volunteers for the children that are in the foster care system. We represent children from Dayton. We represent Liberty and Chambers counties and children in Dayton as well.
I mean, like, so what did you do for the city of Dayton? Like,
so what we've done before in the past is we purchased a table at an event, right? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes.
That's two totally different things. We do a fundraiser here, and everybody's bought tables and others. What y'all have done in the past is done a service provider contract because we are providing the services. And Dayton is just one of the cities that does it. We've done it in Liberty, in Cleveland, and Mont Bellevue as well. And then Commissioner's Court in Liberty County as well as Chambers County does too.
So you guys, y'all provide that lighting service, is that what I'm understanding?
Guardian ad litem, that is our primary service.
If a child is in Dayton, the city of Dayton, they receive your service as ad litem, is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, when a child has, the way CASA works, so when a child has been removed from their home and placed in foster care, the judge will appoint one of our trained volunteers. And it's volunteers, is that, we live on the backs of volunteers.
I can say this, we hadn't put this on our budget for this fiscal year. I'd like for us to address it in our next coming budget talks, maybe to have a discussion about doing it. That way give it more time to have a discussion with the finance director.
and we can, come back at any given time and help with the service provider contract, because we do this, and we have done it with the city of Dayton in the past. I know in, 2022 and 2021 was $3,000. And we've done it back earlier than that, 2020 and before, but I don't have access to those records, so I couldn't tell you exactly. But I know we've done it those years. 2023, it wasn't requested.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I have a motion to table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to table in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 12D passes. I'm sorry, it's tabled. 12E, consider with possible action on resolution number R 2024-41, approving the upgrade of the Sawmill lift station.
I'm back. Need more money. This time a lot.
Leslie, step up.
We put this in the bond, right?
Yes.
Okay, you just asked for permission to go forward with it, or?
Yes, sir. I don't, did y'all get the packet? Y'all have this?
Yes.
Yes.
It's, that lift station's in bad need. It's in bad shape. The pumps are not large enough. It's just a ticking time bomb.
I guess with all the construction going down that we're adding to it,
That's not
this
helping.
upgrade will help? Or
This will
connected
help,
to that?
yes. This
Just
will
connected
help.
to that,
John, it would help, let me add this to it. For what we asked for in our water and wastewater master plan, and it's gonna help, not only that development, it's gonna help the overall city because of the fact that everything goes from the Sawmill lift station over to our treatment facility. Now, the bigger picture and what we really would like to do once we have funds available is find another location and reroute our sewers before we get to our treatment facility. The money that we have right now is all the money we have, which will give us, I think, what is about 500 and something or 800 connections? New connections. That's it. But we have to do something.
It will allow us to have new connections.
Yes.
Jennifer, could you pull up the photo on that lift station 2.2, photo number 3?
I don't have that.
Yeah.
It shows the Sawmill lift station valve fault.
Yeah.
The deterioration
Duration of-
is quite significant.
Yeah.
I think we-
The wet well just as bad.
I'd say you sold us, we just gotta move forward with it. We've
Okay.
been talking about it for a long time.
Yes.
All right, can I get a motion to approve item 12E?
I move that we approve resolution number 2024-41, approving the upgrade of the Sawmill lift station.
Second.
I have a motion to approve with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 12E passes. I think this one also you, Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, this was not in the budget though.
Item 12F, consider with possible action on resolution number R 2024-42, approving the installation of a new sludge pump at the wastewater treatment plant.
So we have 2 sludge pumps on our digesters. We just lost one. They're about 12 years old. If we lose the next one, we got to shut the sewer plant down. And that's not a possibility. We can't do that.
This was not part of the bond, right?
No.
So where are we getting this money from?
The water sewer fund.
Water and sewer.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Water and sewer fund.
Okay.
Which is currently trending revenues over expenses.
Yes.
So we have the money in there to cover it.
What are we looking at? I don't remember the price.
$47,000.
$47,000.
$47,930. How, you said that if we lose one more, we have to shut the plant down. How,
There's a 12-week delivery on it.
okay.
Yeah.
Hold our breath.
And then I assume it's like a day and a half install.
No, actually a day.
What's the lifespan of one of those pumps?
It could be 30 days, it could be 30 years. It just, sometimes they last 10, 15 years, sometimes they last a year. It's just like pumps and lift stations, they're the same way. We got pumps out there that are 20 years old, and I got pumps out there that's a year old that done burn up, so.
How long is the warranty on this pump?
Probably 90
If we're lucky. The pump will have a different warranty than the motor. The motor will have probably maybe 30 to 60 days, but the pump should have a little bit longer. Should have a year. I'll check on it.
All right, can I get a motion on item 12F?
So I move that we approve resolution number R 2024-42, approving the installation of the new sludge pump at the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay, I have the motion to approve in a second. All in favor say aye.
Thank you.
All opposed? Item 12 passes. Consider with possible action on resolution number R 2024-44, authorizing the city manager to issue requests for proposal for administrative services and request for qualifications for engineering services for pre-grant qualification phase 1 application, phase 2, and implementation services for Texas Community Development Grant Program for the 2025-26 Community Development Fund, and all eligible activities per the application guidance as administered by the Texas Department of Agriculture.
Mayor and City Council, we asking for your approval to be able to seek an RFQ and RFP to go for a grant application. This application will allow us to approximately about $800,000 to be able to use it for infrastructure improvements, be if we're going to use it for street or if we're going to use it for water and sewer projects. I will tell you that this particular grant in our population at this time, we only have to contribute 10% of whatever we're seeking, which is a very good number compared to in the past when we had to do 30 and 40% match. We have not identified an area yet. I'll be working, if approved, with our engineer to figure out what is the best location. Keep in mind, these particular funds, we only can utilize those funds in low to moderate income area. And as I mentioned before the council, we don't have many of those areas here in the city of Dayton. So we're going to be working very diligently to try to find the area in which we can spread the love. We've done work on the north side. I would like to try to find areas on the south side to also contribute to some upgrade in our utility services. As you can tell, especially right now, I say right now, but we had some problems in the winter as well, but we have aging infrastructure, and we're going to continue to see leaks, be it water or sewer, and I think taking this approach whenever there's funding out there to seek it to help us on these repairs, we should. So I'm asking for your approval to go out for request for qualifications and proposals for a grant consultant, and in addition to that, an engineer to work with city staff to come up with a project. Once a project is sought after, we will make you aware of what project we will be trying to get funded for.
So do we not have someone that can write grants in the city?
Okay, so the issue with us trying to write grants is that we don't have all the no's in doing the grant, not this particular grant. It's better when you use a consultant that knows more about what particular agencies are looking for. That grant consultant will be taken care of during this process, along with the engineer. We have always been successful when we use a grant administrator versus a city staff. Because none of us are grant personnel. We do small stuff, but not anything of this nature.
And how much is that gonna cost us?
10%.
To hire somebody to
No,
what?
this ain't gonna cost you anything to hire anybody. They'll get paid once they select it and do the work through the grant process.
what do we, and I thought I heard you say a number, but do we have a number on the grant? On how much the
It
grant
would
would be?
be, I believe the number is 800.
So 800,000, and then it would be 10% that we would have to put towards 800,000?
Yes.
Okay,
And that's if we get the whole 800,000, we don't know that yet.
okay. So if we get the whole 800,000, and then we put 10% up, how much less of that does the grant administrator get?
It's broken in a certain percentage that they get. If I have to be, I think it may be 15% of the overall grant, if I'm not mistaken.
So if we put 10% or we put 10% for an $800,000 grant and then pay them 15% to
But
get
it
it.
is the number.
So you're talking about $95,000.
So we cannot do anything and we don't get any funds. And I hate for that to happen when we have such a need.
So of this 800, if it's, for instance, 800, it's 15%, we're talking like 95,000, right? So the additional 705 that's what we would give him.
Right. What we would do is take in consideration of the project itself and what it's gonna cost to repair the project, what it would cost for us to fulfill the project. If it's a sewer repair, or if it's a water line, whatever it may be, all that would be taken in consideration so we don't have to give up any additional funds.
Okay. Can I get a motion on item 12G? I did have one other question before we make the motion. The 10% that we would have to put up, where would that money come from?
We would have to budget for it.
Okay.
And we would work on it in our budget process.
Since it's coming out from the
Right.
six.
Okay.
And this is a grant that we've gotten in the past, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I thought I remembered seeing it. And 705, in my opinion, still would be better than zero.
And I wouldn't go after these grants for the consultant advice until it was necessary. We do not have the expertise to write this grant. I'm sorry to say that none of us are trained in that field. Smaller grants through TxDOT, grants through the parks, wildlife, we apply for those grants. So in terms of the federal grants and the information that they require, we feel more comfortable with our success, allowing a consultant to assist us. And our limitations.
Make a move to accept resolution R 2024-44, authorizing the city manager to request for proposal for administrative services, request for engineering services, RFQ, grant application, as presented. 25. That's it here.
Okay, I have a motion to approve with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 12G passes. It is now 7:34, and I hereby recess this Dayton City Council to executive session.
Yeah.